So one of the things I think that gets unstated a lot with the kind of rulings over rules thing is that it's really referee GM dependent. And if you get a GM that puts a lot of unnecessary roadblocks in terms of difficulty or rules, that is going to disincentivize players from going outside the box. The nice thing if you're doing just a straight up attack or straight up action that's on your sheet is you know exactly how it works. You can see the odds, you can see if you're good at it or not and how everything works and the outcome, and it's very clear. When you get into the rulings part, you're really depending upon the referee or GM to give you a situation that whatever the risk, whatever the rewards, whatever the costs, makes sense. And I think we've all had stories in which we've had a game master, dungeon master, referee that when we've presented off the books, so to speak, actions, come up with solutions to that just mechanically don't incentivize us to do that. So then we look at the action that we wanted to do and we see how the GM has decided to mechanize that, and we end up changing our minds and saying, oh gosh, let's just go ahead with attack. So while it's easy to say, like, well, you know, people like board games or video games and rulings of rules, I think the truth is that rulings of rules is very dependent on having a GM that is open to different actions, that doesn't put unnecessary hurdles or difficulties, that makes it at least an interesting idea whether to take that action or not. And what happens fairly often is that GMs don't do that. And so yes, while you have the ability in a generic sense to do anything you want, the reality at those tables is the GM makes it, maybe unwittingly, not a great idea to do that. That those actions, the risk isn't worth the reward, and so you're better off to default to something that's on your sheet. Thanks for the comment. Game on.